Welcome back. We are going to push on to the last session for today's conference. So I'm going to introduce Sarah and Crystal and Chris and Paula to the stage, who are going to be talking about another element of the Charter, which is about moving into home ownership. And then once we're finished, we will then get into the Q&As. Okay.
Good afternoon and welcome to Sales. I'm Paula Beale.
And I'm Crystal Branch.
Today we're going to look through shared ownership, and then we're going to go through some of the changes supporting you through home ownership. We will start by showing you a short video which is called What is Shared Ownership? Hopefully this will clear up any myths about the scheme.
Shared ownership has been helping people become homeowners for over 30 years. It works by allowing you to buy a share in a property and pay a low-cost rent on the remaining share. Shared ownership gives you security and privacy by enabling you to buy bricks and mortar with your stamp on it. It doesn't mean sharing with a stranger, although you can buy jointly with a friend, a partner, or a sibling. You're the homeowner and Curo own the rented share, meaning you buy a bit and rent a bit. You will require a smaller deposit and smaller mortgage, making home ownership more affordable. So who is eligible? Are you over 18? Are you unable to afford a property on the open market? Are you a first-time buyer or in the process of selling your existing home? Is your household income less than £80,000 per year? If you answered yes to all these questions, then you are likely to be eligible for shared ownership. Don't worry about not owning the house outright. You can usually buy more shares in your property, up to 100% over time, thanks to a little thing called staircasing. As you work your way up, the more you own, the less rent you pay. If you would like more information, contact the sales team today on 0345 140 5050 and start your home ownership journey with Curo.
We hope you enjoyed our short video on shared ownership, and hopefully that gives you a bit of a better idea on what shared ownership is. But we don't want you to just take it from us as to what a great scheme it is. So let's hear from one of our shared ownership customers who purchased a Curo built home.
My name's Terry, I'm 30 years old and I work for a finance company doing admin. I was living with my parents, just up the road actually. I'm from Clutton originally. I've always wanted my own home. Being 30 years old, I think it was about time I got on the market. Buying a house in Clutton would probably be impossible. I've looked for years. Shared ownership was the only way I could do it, which was fantastic that they started building here. I love living here. I love living on my own, it's independent, but then I'm not too far away from people if I need them. The garden is lovely. The stairs are actually my favourite part of the house because they twine round. I just love living in the country. It's quiet. I love the fact that the house looks onto fields. You can just see the cows in the morning, cows in the evening. I finally had a little family gathering and they were all really excited. They were also proud. They loved the house. They loved how big the house was. I would definitely recommend Curo to my friends and family. They were helpful, supportive. Any questions that I had, they answered. To buy on the open market, I probably would have had to save a lot more and for a lot longer. Doing it shared ownership, it was when I was ready to buy, I was able to buy.
Oh, what a lovely review. It just makes me smile every time I watch that.
I know, she looks so happy, doesn't she?
Brilliant. I'm going to go over some figures now. So over the last 5 years, we've sold 288 shared ownership properties. In the current year's forecast, this year, we're selling 96 Of those 96, we've currently got 40 sold and customers already in their new homes, which is brilliant news. Of the other 56, we've got reserved and we're just waiting completion on them. So we're so happy to be helping so many people into home ownership, and yeah, I've got the most amazing team doing that.
If you are interested in shared ownership at all, we have a really useful tool we've just put onto the Curo sales website. So you can see the calculator here. If you see, it should start to adjust. So you can adjust the property value. So you can go up to the price of the property that you're looking at, and then you can adjust the interest rate on your mortgage, the share price, and the term of your mortgage repayment. So it's a really handy tool to have an idea of what you'd start to repay monthly if shared ownership was something you were looking into.
Thank you, Crystal. So the new shared ownership model, what are the changes? So instead of 125 years, it will now be 990 years. You can buy smaller initial shares in your property, and also the ability to purchase further shares in 1% tranches. We'll also support our customers with repairs in the first 10 years up to a maximum of £500 per year. Please note these are only key facts, and there are other information that we can provide on that.
Yeah, so a lot of really interesting changes coming, and I know a lot of shared owners that will be happy with the 999.
Oh yeah, amazing news.
But please don't forget that shared ownership isn't the only thing that we do. So we also do right to buy and right to acquire schemes. So over the past 5 years, we've helped 90 tenants purchase their homes in this fashion. And going forward as well, we will be introducing a right to shared ownership scheme, which means that residents can purchase their homes in shares, which is a really great way to get on.
Oh yeah. I hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you for listening. And now we'll pass over to Sarah and Chris from the commercial team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, on the twilight shift at the end of Residents' Conference Day 2. So welcome everyone in the room and welcome online. I am Chris Cox. I am the Commercial Property Director, overseeing our home ownership relationships. And with me today is
Sarah Gosman. So I am the Commercial Property Manager. So I oversee the team that supports the shared ownerships when you've eventually purchased. We support you if you live in a house or live in a flat and looking at your leases.
Thank you. So sort of connecting the dots really, the working relationship we have with our colleagues on the stage with us tonight is to take over the journey once you have purchased and moved into your home. So the team as it currently looks at covers all of our various different home ownership relationships. So we've talked a little bit about shared ownership, but we've got our leasehold and our right to buy sort of acquisitions as well. We've got a few freeholders that are connected to us as well. So there might be a few of you in the audience that's maybe more relevant to, but anyone who has an interest we can talk to about that. So at the moment, just to put some context or meat on the bones, we have around about nearly 2,000 homeowners that are under sort of Curo stewardship. And our relationship with you in that regard will start as basic as some of the colleagues you've met today, from repairs and maintenance, estate services, cleaning, repairs, how your service charges are set, what we will do to support you, and how we will engage with you as well as that. So what we're going to talk about a little bit today is our next steps in terms of how we will engage you or as a new homeowner. And that journey will start as soon as you move in or purchase your property. So Sarah's going to talk a little bit about the content of what we do, and I'll be talking a little bit about where we want to go next in terms of our engagement.
So once you've purchased your property, there is a smooth transition between the sales team over to our team. So initial contact, we would send you out a homeowner's handbook, which is very good. It's got a lot of information that you need, understanding your service charges, understanding your responsibilities as well. And then from there, we would offer welcome meetings to everybody that's purchased. So these welcome meetings, we've ran them for the last couple of years, and they've received really good results. People are really keen on them because it gives you that first port of contact with the commercial team. And it allows you to ask those questions that just aren't in paperwork and that you kind of haven't thought of to ask when you're purchasing the property, but you just kind of want to ask questions a little bit later. These welcome meetings, so they can be done over the phone. We can also do them over G-Meets, and now we're looking to start doing them in person as well. And we'll talk through everything from service charge statements. If you purchased a shared ownership in a block of flats, we will talk through the lease and explain responsibilities of who deals with what area. And we'll also just speak to you about costs and when you're expecting sort of cyclical decorations to go on within the property. We've also, over the last 12 to 18 months, looked at our website as well to make sure that it's up to date. We have a dedicated team within our team that keep everything up to date with all of our contact details. We've just recently popped on there information about reading leases and the best way to read it and understanding them as well. So that is continuously updated to keep everybody informed of the process. The other thing that we are also doing is we have my Curo portal, which has been running for some time, and we're looking at what else we can get on there for shared owners. So you can't at the minute raise any repairs for the communal areas because it's not set up to do that. But that's what we're looking to do in the future. We're looking to put things like statements on there. You can currently pay any direct debits you can set up through there as well. So it's like a one-stop place. It's 24/7 that's suitable for everybody to log on to.
Thank you, Sarah. So finally, we are here today for many reasons, but resident engagement and the principles of it are something that we are very keen to take forward. The home ownership department has existed now for around about 5 or 6 years, and it's been growing and developing as we've gone along that journey. We're not fully there. We still have lots of ambitions and requests that we want to fulfill. And part of that has been starting with more digital engagement as a requirement over the last 18 months, but we're now pushing more face-to-face contact. We have a leasehold forum, which is open to new shared owners and to our leaseholders, and that meets quarterly at the moment. Or no, actually, it meets more frequently. It meets bi-monthly, and we're trying to increase our attendance list through that. We're trying to find new ways to engage with people where it's relevant. So we are going out to sites, we are going out meeting customers, we're looking to engage around any key principal events that will happen in your home and some of the ambitions there. And we're starting that through just starting to understand and appreciate the feedback that we receive so that we can design services that are applicable for you and your benefit. So at the moment, Sarah and I are starting a workshop to look at our customer journey mapping. So it's looking at meeting the services, the investment schemes, the proposals that a lot of my colleagues have probably talked with you about today, and to understand what will look good and how you feel about the services that Curo provide as a homeowner. And we're trying to encourage people to come forward with their views, really. This is an opportunity for everyone to say their piece and to help us shape our service offer. So in the spirit of engagement, that's where we're taking our efforts at the moment. We've also tried to engage a few bits of that information already to get that insight through voice box surveys, through our Change in Insight service, and there are further plans for a few more events coming up in the future. So watch this space. We've got lots of opportunities, lots of exciting things we can do, and you are key and integral to it. So that's where sort of we are looking now as our next steps for our homeowners, and hopefully we can bring forward a better service offer to you all. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
I've got one question through the room. How are leaseholders being involved in the planning of changes to their property? So part of that is going to be the journey mapping sessions. So we really want to understand, particularly around things like major investment programs, decorations, repairs, and key services, how that's likely to impact you. So some of those aspects are going to be about making sure that we are better with our communication, more engaged. We are very transparent with information. So things like your program of works, when we're likely to invest, when we're likely to put scaffolding up, or any other sort of services are coming out to your site. We want to make sure that we can get those to you in good time, you're in the know, and we can change the dynamic of that service as well. That's all the questions I've got online at the moment. Is there any questions in the room for any of us? We've got a couple here.
How do you balance this ability to buy houses with the need for people to rent when there's such a long list of people waiting to rent properties?
It's a very interesting one. Our model is we look to create or build our own homes. Some of those will then look at private sale. That private sale, and Paula might want to step in on some of it, is enabling us to build further homes for the future. So every site that we will develop under our Curo Enterprise or Curo Homes service, around about 30% will go forward for social affordable tenancies or shared ownership. We look to acquire at the moment what's sort of called off-the-shelf or Section 106 properties as well. They will be on the premise that we will have at least 30-40% for affordable tenancies as well. So we look to build and then recycle some of the capital gains from selling privately to invest in building new homes as well.
So are the ones that do come up for sale, in whatever way you do that, are they existing properties or are they new properties?
So a lot are new. For those who are aware of Mulberry Park, is one of our sort of flagship developments at the moment. So there's about 700 properties up there being built over about 6 years. So we've been there for about 2 or 3 years now. That's one of a number of sites that we have that we're developing on. And as those opportunities come up, there'll be open market sales as well. So a different section of your sales suite, but maybe you want to add anything on that?
Yeah, so you get open market sales, and then also you get the shared ownership and the affordable rents and social rents. So from the developments that we do, we also, all the money from the open markets gets reinvested back into affordable homes, whether it's shared ownership, affordable rents, social rents. It all gets reinvested into that.
What is the definition of an affordable home? I'm never quite sure when I hear that phrase.
So it can be anything. So normally the shared ownership, an affordable rent, or social rented property. One of the three. They kind of.
But what is actually affordable? Isn't that a sort of subjective?
It's normally set by the local housing authority or allowance. It's normally around about 60 to 80% of market rent value.
I see.
So it will depend on the area and the local authority who set those sort of boundaries, and then that's it. It's obviously Bath is obviously a more privileged or higher market rate value than it possibly will be out in the countryside in Radstock and things like that.
Okay, right.
I think we had another question.
Yeah, how easy is it to buy a share? You buy in at, say, a certain percentage, but you want to increase your percentage of what you own of the house. How easy is it to do?
Well, it's relatively. So if you're a shared owner, you can then buy further tranches in your property. So all you do then is apply to Curo to buy further shares in the property. It will be easier under the new right to shared ownership for tenants with regards to like the shared ownership model now. So you're a leaseholder, aren't you, Keith? Yeah?
No, general needs.
Oh, right, okay. So shared ownership, you buy into shared ownership, it's a new build property, and then you buy further tranches in it. The actual government now are bringing in new proposals where our tenants can have a right to shared ownership. So with minimum shares of like 10%, and then you can then buy further shares as you go on.
I know someone who moved from Bath out to Peasdown 6-8 years ago.
Yeah.
And they love it. The only thing is they try and increase because he got a better job, she's got a better job, and they wanted to buy an extra share of it, and they found it very, very difficult.
The process is relatively easy, so I don't know.
Not according to them, it weren't.
Okay, but yeah, the process is relatively easy. They just apply to us, we get a valuation of that. The valuation, if it's a freehold property, we have to get solicitors involved. If it's if they live in a flat, then we just do all the paperwork in house. So it is relatively an easy experience. But yeah, I'm sorry that they haven't had that. Was that with Curo or?
Yeah.
It's supported by the commercial team, so the team that Chris and I manage, and we are happy to support customers through taking on those extra tranches. So I'd say if you wanted to speak to them and ask them to get in touch, and then we'll talk through the process and see if we can make it a lot simpler and easier for them.
I don't know if they gave up on the idea or what, 'cause that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's back. It might even be back in summer days.
When you say is Peasland, is that Sunnyside?
I don't know, my love.
Yeah, Sunnyside was obviously we inherited that from Redland Housing Association. So yeah, if it was when the time they were dealing with us or.
No, I think it was summer housing.
It was okay.
Yeah, I think it was back when I was on the board of summer housing.
Yeah, well, if you want to, we can get in contact with them and go through the process if that will help them.
I'll email her tonight and
please do.
see if they've done what they wanted to do.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
Give
Thank
them
you.
my name.
Yeah, all right, my love.
Do we have any more questions in the room? No? I think that's it. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time and listening.
Thank you.
Appreciate you all coming out.